we go. Yay, we did it. Hi.
Hi, right on time as always.
Well, you know me, I'm a little, what's the word?
No, you are the energy of the number 8. You are the boss of bosses, and that's how bosses do things on time.
That's right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to be punctual. So there, we'll go with that. Yes. So I was just saying that you're joining me. It's Monday. We started this at 1:11 because, well, you can tell us why.
I'm a numerologist.
Yes. Tricia is a numerologist and Reiki master and all these beautiful things. And so I wanted to have a chat with her today to, I don't know, discuss things and ask her a few questions because I'm super curious always and a little nosy. So yeah. And I wanted to mention that both Tricia and I are on the central coast of California. It is 85 here today. I don't know it's hot, right?
I think it feels good, but that's
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it does. But I'm ready to like, put on sweaters but anyway, yes. So, Tricia, we're both empaths, intuitives. Some people would probably call us woo-woo or maybe a little, I don't know, maybe a little witchy. I don't mind when people kind of refer to me as that. But I wanted to just read your bio really quickly, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just
Cool. So Tricia started her love affair with numerology in 2010. And then in 2013, she received her level 2 Reiki certification. And then in 2020, she completed her Master Reiki certification. She's also the author of Say Yes to Who You Are to Create Fitness. And it's the first in the series. And I know I have mine. I should have pulled it out. Darn it. Anyway, so that's how I met Tricia in one of her classes, but we can talk about that later because I'm just going to jump right into questions.
Great.
Yeah? You ready for this? Okay. All right. Since I mentioned that you're a Reiki master, can you give everyone a few examples of how Reiki helps people?
Oh, okay. This is a recent example of a family member. And it was a sad diagnosis for her husband. And you think, okay, well, Reiki heals. And she said, well, we knew going in, that's not what we were using the Reiki for, with the prognosis that her husband had. And she said it was so comforting. She had the training in the Reiki with a Reiki master. And she said just laying the hands on and thinking about healing was very calming for both of them, for him to receive it and for her to be part of it. So I'm getting a little choked up. So it's like, okay, well, it has its own intelligence, and we think of it for healing, but it does its own thing, right? In that instance, well, what are we healing? Well, maybe the road to passing, right? Accepting the letting go, right? And doing a little less resisting in that situation brings us comfort. And so, yeah, that's a sad example. But yes, and then for me to totally shift, for me personally, it was the reason I was able to connect with my intuition and allow it after my first Reiki attunement, and then each one after just increased my intuitive abilities. So I didn't know that was going to happen. My Reiki master, my first one, didn't know that was going to happen. So that's two ways.
So cool.
There hasn't been a student that I've had that hadn't kind of broke open or used their intuition after. Oh yeah, there's an example.
I was like, oh, funny that you mentioned that.
So I don't think that's definitely not unique to Reiki, but I think it's very specific for my clients and my students to have that happen for them. It doesn't
Yeah.
for everyone, but yeah.
Well, I was going to share my example of when I first discovered you, it was an online class. It was a metaphysical class through a local college. And I mean, I'd always known that I was an intuitive or an empath or just very highly sensitive is what people always told me.
Mhm.
But anyway, you had us do an exercise on Zoom where we felt each other's energies. And I felt back pain in one of the participants. And I just said it, feeling kind of lame saying it. I was, I don't know. And it was true. And it opened up this, oh my gosh, this whole time I've known. And so it was this beautiful moment that then I moved even further with you and did a Reiki certification.
Mhm.
And then there's another point where you helped me also, but we can go there later.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just over Zoom, and you think, well, what do you mean you were able to read someone and connect to someone? Yes, that and Reiki does that too.
Yeah.
You can, yep. Mm-hmm.
The distance healing and yeah.
I was surprised by that too. I mean, I hoped that people could make connections, but it was really like palpable what was happening in that class. I remember that. I was a little
Yeah.
scared myself.
It was
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful moment. Yeah.
It was interesting.
So moving into numerology, because that's how you got started, right?
Yes.
Numerology. And if you could explain, I mean, we could be here all
Oh,
day with all the different cool things, but one thing that I wanted to ask you was to explain your love, maybe bordering on obsession with repeating numbers.
um,
Not to make you uncomfortable, but
um,
you know.
well, that's funny because well, numbers speak to me, and so I guess the obsession is I'll ask someone like, do you see repeated numbers on license plates? And my husband's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, there's a crazy amount of repeated numbers. And then there's always 777 on the license plates. And he smiles because we have a secret code of what 77 means. Anyways, from the Friends episode. Anyway,
Oh,
that's embarrassing.
okay.
But anyway, he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And also other people, when you see repeated numbers on your phone, right? Because now we have the numbers instead of looking at a clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I see it so often, like maybe not on a daily basis. So I do the screenshot on my phone of all the, 222, 333. It can get obnoxious. And I can't stop myself. And so it's almost like you blink and you breathe and it's a constant. And you'd think I'd keep picking up my phone because I know it's going to be 222, but it's like I get surprised every time, although it happens on a regular basis. And so it's kind of like a compulsion. So that's my, how much it's part of my life and who I am and
Yeah.
how my guides speak to me, I guess. It keeps
Right.
me into the numerology. I guess that's my only, if I had to explain it. Yeah.
So when you take a screenshot, do you have a folder of all your screenshots? This is, the strategist in me. Yeah, very organized. I like it.
Well, I do it by month. And
Okay.
so I post, them on my Instagram page and explain what the numbers mean. But
Yeah.
I don't always know the message, which is a little bit about the embarrassment that I don't always know the message, but I can't stop myself from doing the save.
Yeah. That's okay. I think, right? No, I think it's wonderful. And I don't always know the message either, right? When I see repeating numbers but even when I see them, I'll say to my kids, like, make a wish because I know there's a spirit guide or an angel,
Yeah.
right? Somebody's sending something. So or send some good energy to someone that we love who may need it. So I think it's fun to see repeating numbers.
Pause. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well, they roll their eyes at me for the most part, but whatever. They're teenagers.
well
And what?
until they start noticing. Because
Exactly. And they do.
I that screenshot or send me pictures on my phone, like when they see repeated numbers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See? So then you're paying it
Yeah.
forward. Nice. What is the other one? Oh, so I was going to ask you, should we be looking for repeating numbers also as kind of a sign, be business, life? I know people say sometimes like, well, how can you apply Reiki, numerology, intuition to business? But you and I both do it, so maybe you want to share a little bit.
Well, that's a literal thing that you look at the day your business was born,
Okay.
just like look at when you were born,
Hmm.
and business then will give you messages. You can also do the numerology of your business name, and then it speaks to you and tells you its energy. And then you can yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what? Why haven't you told me this
Yes.
before?
Oh, so because it's a real live thing. It's a thing in
Yeah.
itself.
Mhm.
And then you can repeated numbers, then you can take, because you're very goal oriented, right? So let's say you have a social media goal, that's the energy of the number 5. And then you look on your calendar, so your birthday calendar for yourself, and you can do one for your business,
Mhm.
and you can see where the 5 energy is the strongest on your calendar,
Oh,
and you would schedule your social media on that day. Yeah.
whoa.
Oh, whoa.
That's
Yes,
super cool. So you do that for
I
people.
do that. Yep.
Oh,
It's
nice.
fun because you have an overlay of the universal day energy, then your birthday energy, and then your business energy. So you'll have 3 numbers on your calendar. So today is, what's the date today? Is
16th?
16th. So we're adding, let's see, 7 and 7 is 14, plus we're in the 10th month. So today has the energy of the number 6.
Okay, and what does that mean?
So 6 is very domestic, and making things pretty and making things nice. And
Oh,
so I found myself, I found myself often, I do domestic things on a 6 energy day. So this morning after my coffee, I had made meals. I went right to the kitchen and I just started making meals. And I don't always do that, but I was like, oh yeah, today's the energy. Or I'll be making cookies and then I do the numerology. I'm like, oh, it's a 6. It's domestic. And I'm
wow.
like, well, that's kind of, yeah. So it happens. I notice it happens, but you can use that energy on purpose to meet your
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Huh.
When you want
Okay.
something new
Uh-huh.
or something, you do it on a 1 energy day, 1 new beginnings. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That would help with not only kind of intuitively, but also it would really help like bring down anxiety, right? For me anyway, of stressing about something, knowing, no, this is the day, this is the energy of that day, and then go do it. It would
Yep.
feel good
And
for me.
submitted, I submitted my numerology book idea on the energy of the number 8 for business. So I made sure the day that I submitted it was the energy of the number 8 for manifesting, and because 8 is, a boss, the biggest boss number besides the 1. So it was accepted. So some people might say that's a coincidence. But
I
not,
don't believe in coincidences, so
but like you said, let's just say it's not meant. Just the fact that you can, you're like, well, when am I going to do this? It just gives you the when, right? And
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it helps.
Cool. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Nice. So it sounds like we should do like a master class on this, right? Like get in there and dig around a little more. It sounds so
Yeah,
fun.
fun because yeah, that would be fun.
You're like, yeah, I could do that. No pressure, Tricia.
No, I was just putting my brain around, because what I do is I sit and I make the calendars for for the people that ask me. So that takes a few minutes. But if I tell you how to do the math, then you don't need my help again. And every month you can do your own numbers. And it's not hard.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I've got you. Well, speaking of master classes, workshops, you've got a series of workshops coming
Uh,
up starting this Sunday,
yeah,
right?
yeah. This first one is this
Yeah.
Sunday on the 2nd at Dharma Yoga Loft, um, and that combines intuition with yoga and with the body mind connection. Understanding that your body is talking to you, and so that your ailments, so often you can look at your ailments and do the numerology for it, and you realize that that's a challenge in your life.
Oh, huh. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
kind of all
ritual.
related.
Yeah, it's have you heard of the book You Can Heal Yourself by Louise Hay?
Oh, I have not.
Yes, so she helped AIDS victims, back in the day where everybody, they didn't want to share the same room. They didn't understand what AIDS meant, and they were very,
Sure.
how that was back then.
Mm-hmm.
He embraced that community and looked at the energy of it, as well as some other diseases. And she wrote a book, You Can Heal Your Life. And that's really what it is like what energetically is going on with you is what your body's trying to tell you. It's
Yeah.
communicating. And you say,
Right.
well, if you're walking and you bump your toe, that's not energetic. Yeah, because how many times have you bumped your toe or hurt your foot? And it could just be a sign of you're rushing around too much, right? Or you need to slow down. So yeah, I know someone who is like I think they hurt themselves 3 times this month. And because they're very healthy, they're not going to get a cold, or they're not going to get a headache, because they are very pure about what they put into their body. But see, energetically, the universe is trying to get them to slow down. So it's just, yeah. So anyway, so during that workshop, we're going to try to make those connections so that we slow down, 2, that we listen to our bodies, and then we add some yoga to it, which is really helpful.
Oh, oh, that just sounds so lovely. So for people who don't know, Dharma Yoga Studio, it's in downtown Paso Robles.
Yeah.
So it's in the heart of the wine country where we are. So I love that there's yoga, right? And a little Reiki healing. And then you could go wine taste if you wanted, I suppose. You're right downtown. I'm kidding, but yes.
Different kind of spirit.
Yeah, yes. So they were
Yes.
doing 6 Sundays in person. And
Mm-hmm.
how can people find out more or sign up with you?
So if they go to my Instagram, if they can, of
Mm-hmm.
course, my website link is right in my description. They can click on there,
Okay.
triciasgarden.com. It should be the first thing that pops up. Or you can go.
Tricia'sEnergyGarden.com. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Good. Yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be great. I hope that I can. And can people do drop-in for one if they can't, or is it all 6?
Well, it's really the best price for all 6
Yes,
at
I did notice that.
$188. Yep, that's very affordable, given that we do an intuitive workshop, and you're getting a lot of beginner yoga. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I don't want to tell people no if the class isn't full, but I want to keep the class small. So
Yeah, understandably. And I appreciate that about you because you are always, I don't know, you obviously you care about people, but you care about them being able to afford it and to bring wellness to everyone,
yeah.
right? And oh, I can't hear you all of a sudden. Oh.
Oh, sorry. That's what Dharma Yoga, the Wellness Lounge, is about, to make wellness affordable. Yeah, and I like to have the smaller groups so it can be a more one-on-one situation. More intimate than a big conference.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. I love
And us
that.
empaths,
Yeah.
we can't be having big bunches of people. And so, and maybe if anybody that is empathic and they don't work with it because it's too much, they might consider this class as well, because we're not going to have a lot of people in there. So
That's such a good point that you really need that. You've got so much energy coming at you, right? Especially if and it's a workshop and so there's talking and
yeah.
sharing and sometimes for me it can be a lot and it's a lot to take in and so you're right. Like to keep it intimate is nice.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's necessary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So that's exciting. That'll be fun.
I'm glad we talked about the business numerology, and you reminded me about that. And
Yes. Yes. And I encourage people to go because I'm going to be go to your website to find
oh,
out more information about that because is it on your website as well?
yes, and I have a YouTube video
Yeah.
about more specifically, yes, about how to use it. I helped a friend of mine open her yoga studio in Hawaii, so it's her and I sitting down with her business numerology to explain it.
That is so it's such a unique service and so helpful. So,
I think
yes.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
go to Tricia's website, find out more, and set up a numerology, business numerology. And
Yeah.
that can really help. Yeah, get the flow and the ease going as entrepreneurs because we're always doing so much. And sometimes I still feel behind the eight ball, right? And so it's nice to know what days to post, like you mentioned, or what days to submit your book or, all the different things. It just feels so nice. So thank you for that service.
Organizing tip. You're welcome.
Yes, I love it. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I got to look
Yeah.
up, right? Technically.
And I look down.
You're okay.
And before we go, I do want to, the other thing about Tricia is that when I was doing the Reiki certification and I was sitting there and there were just a few of us, right? I think there were 5 of us.
Yes.
Anyway,
Mhm.
uh, and I was so reluctant to bring my intuition and my intuitive abilities into my business, right? Like, nope, I'm in marketing and I need to be a strategist and that, that, that. And you really helped me release that. And it was just this feeling of, no, that is my truth and that's my authenticity and it's who I am and it's how I move through the world. So why wouldn't I bring that into what I do and how I help people? Now I'm going to get choked up because bringing that in and being able to be 1,000% all me has been wonderful. And I think it resonates with people and they feel that, right? They feel that energy of like,
Authenticity.
yeah, no, this is who I am. This is how I can help.
Yep.
And yeah. So thank you for helping me
You're welcome.
accept it.
And I'm glad that you did because that was my beginning road was resisting it. So I know that's what I'm here to help people do to release the resistance of their intuition and have it become part of their business and come out of the closet with it.
Right. Yes, exactly.